It's the DIY audio guy, and for today's adventure, we're going to make some smoke. Let's go ahead and jump right in. This is the rear door speaker from my old pickup truck. It's a 5 1/4 or a 6.5, I'm not really sure. I've got it hooked up to my subwoofer amplifier. It's an Alpine monoblock. In 4-ohm configuration, it's capable of pumping out about 300 watts. So let's just see what it takes to make a little bit of smoke. So this is taking way too long, so I'm going to jump in the truck and turn up the head unit just a little bit more, give it some more juice. There we go, now we got some smoke. In case you're wondering why I'm blowing up speakers, today I'm celebrating the fact that I just hit 100 subscribers. So why don't we jump into the next speaker. This is a 6x9 that came out of the front door of my pickup truck. Hey, that was real nice. I noticed that it kept smoking after it blew, so I picked up the cone and pumped the cone a little bit. I like how it kind of pumped out little puffs of smoke as I pushed down on the cone. Alright, moving on to the next thing, we have something a little bit beefier. This is a 6.5-inch subwoofer that came from a home theater in a box. It's been sitting in my garage for 2, maybe 3 years. And so I don't see the point in hanging on to this thing, letting it take up space. How about if we go ahead and crank it up and see if we can let out the magic smoke? Hey, that was nice. Let's take this thing apart and take a look at the damage. First thing I want you to notice is I can't press the cone down. It's not moving at all. So let's pull that dust cap off and see what it looks like behind that dust cap. And you can see there's wires in there. Everything looks burnt. It smells absolutely horrible. It's a mess. It's toast. It's gone. Let's take the world's dullest razor knife and let's cut this thing open and let's pull out that voice coil and see what kind of condition it's in. I'm thinking it's going to be burnt to a crisp. Let's take a look. Now it's time to jump up to something a little bit bigger. This is a 10-inch Polk Audio subwoofer from a Polk Audio home theater. It's supposed to be a 100-watt subwoofer. Let's see what happens when I put 300 watts through this thing. Hang on tight. Let's see what happens. At this point, I thought I was at the end of my test track, but it was actually shot. And if you listen real close for a second, you can hear it give its final pop. This says it's still playing.
I guess it's blown.
Yeah, kill the power. I'd like to give a shout out to my sidekick, the DIY audio teenager, who's going to take the world's dullest razor knife and pull the dust cap off this thing and tell us what it looks like inside.
Looks a little burnt.
Oh yeah, it's not. Look at when I push, how it pushes it, and it doesn't move all together at once. It moves like on a corner.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's pushed down and it won't come up.
Oh, wow.
That crunchy sound is surefire evidence that this thing is gone. Now let's go ahead and take this thing apart. What do you say we kick it up another notch? This right here is the big brother of the 10-inch that I just blew. This is a Polk Audio 12-inch home theater subwoofer. Both of these subwoofers came from a relative that had a lightning strike 2 separate occasions, and it blew the amplifiers for these things, and they gave me the drivers and the speakers, knowing that I mess around with this stuff. And they've been sitting in my garage forever. It's time to get rid of them. Let's see if I've got enough juice to make it go up in smoke. It's going to be a challenge. This thing is a 250 watt RMS driver. My amplifier only puts out 300 watts RMS. So I pushed this thing at full volume for about 2 minutes and it did not blow. I wasn't willing to crank up the gain on my amplifier. I suppose that I needed more gain on the amp. I could have easily cranked the amp up to the point where it was clipping, but I was worried about damaging the amplifier in addition to blowing the speaker. So I decided to call it quits and just cut it apart and take a look at what it looks like on the inside. The way I see it, there are a ton of YouTube videos that show what voice coils look like after they've been blown. They show the burned coils and the coils coming unwound, but there aren't that many that show what a voice coil looks like when it hasn't been blown. So let's go ahead and pull the voice coil out of this thing and get a good look and see what it looks like when a voice coil is in perfect operating condition. I would also like to point out that the voice coil got pretty hot, and it was hot to the touch. A lot hotter than I thought it would be. So let's take a look at this voice coil and see how it looks outside of the woofer. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this adventure. I'll catch you next time.